So the Home Secretary has admitted defeat over her controversial go-home advertising vans aimed at illegal immigrants. Theresa May told MPs the poster campaign was too much of a blunt instrument and would not be rolled out nationwide as originally planned. Her announcement came as her department's latest plan, a £200 a head health costs levy on temporary migrants, went before the Commons as part of the new immigration bill. Ministers say it could save the NHS £500 million a year, but family doctors say it's not their job to act as border guards. Our Home Affairs Correspondent Simon Israel has this report.
It's been described as gimmicky, divisive, disastrous, cheap, and a return to the 70s politics of the National Front. The van with the misleading go-home message to illegal immigrants has had a short shelf life. It survived 2 weeks on the road through certain immigrant communities in London during the summer. But today the Home Secretary admitted it was not a good idea.
I think politicians should be willing to step up to the plate and say when they think something actually hasn't been as good an idea, and I think they were too blunt an instrument.
But it's not the only instrument the government's been using to cut numbers in an effort to meet its cap on net migration. Most of London's Chinatown closed this afternoon in protest against a surge in border agency raids. 13 in 3 months, with many, they say, simply fishing expeditions.
They finished the raid and then showed the warrant, and then the owner pointed out to them that's the wrong address. So it's not very intelligence-led.
The government is actually creating an atmosphere of fear, of blaming the Chinese community or the ethnic community, all the wrongs and economic problems that exist in this country.
We are running a good business, okay, and then they're thinking, oh, we are having employed all these illegal workers, which is not true, okay? So now, today, we are all gathering together, we close all the shops.
This was a rare moment when a community's reaction is a measure of just how much fear is being whipped up by the hardline politics around immigration. The vans were an illustration of careless statistics. Their impact is, according to the Home Office, still being evaluated. The end of the government's Go Home van campaign is an embarrassment, but it comes on the day of another government anti-immigration message, this time about health tourism. It's seized on a report that claims it's costing £500 million a year, and the government says much of that is down to abuse of the system by immigrants. This North London surgery sees hundreds of patients a week, many European, Israeli, Iranian and Nigerian. Dr. Lawrence Buckman, in a long career as a GP, can only remember a single case of so-called health tourism. Now he's being asked to police migrants' access to his services.
I can imagine there would be difficult conversations in the reception area, because this would mostly fall on our receptionists, to establish whether someone was or was not entitled. Our receptionists are not border police, do not have the time or the inclination to become border police, nor do we wish to be tax collectors for the government.
But the process of checking appears to be already taking root in some places, with some evidence that immigrants are avoiding official healthcare services.
These people are settled here, they're just excluded from medical care, and very often they're extremely vulnerable patients, trafficked women, pregnant women, destitute migrants, people who need to see a doctor but who are unable to access mainstream healthcare.
Restoring the balance is how the government describes its immigration plans. And that's the balance between the taxpayer and those with no right to be here.